What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Legacy Podcast, where we have conversations that empower. And I have my lovely guest with me. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ewnet, and I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. First, before we get into anything, how was your week? How are you doing?
My week was good. It was very productive, so I'm proud of that.
What did you do? How was it productive?
Just been applying for jobs.
Oh, yeah. I feel like we're all applying for jobs at this point.
Everybody is, and I applied for one. When it comes back, it's like, oh, we already found somebody. Thank you for applying, but we'll keep your resume, blah, 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 all those.
You know, the funny thing is, I think I seen a stat or something. They're like, this year, unemployment has went down. But I'm like, I don't understand how has nobody's getting jobs. Who getting employed?
Why am I still on the unemployed list?
So what's your application process? Like, what type of jobs you shoot for? Like the ones you can make, or overachiever?
Literally anything that has my whatever I can apply to. Okay. So the other day, I literally just applied for a senior level job.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? And I just need a phone call. Mm-hmm. If they call me, I know they'll love me.
That's what I'm saying. We're on that position. Let them open the door. Let them peek that door open. We're in there.
That's what I'm saying.
But besides work, what's new in life? How are you? Besides the struggle of finding a job.
The struggle of finding a job. Oh, I'm good. I live with family, thank God. I have 2 older brothers that financially, help me out. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not really at a point where I need a job. Yeah. I can live off of them, honestly, if they'll allow me. I'll do their cleaning, I'll do their cooking, and I'll do their...
It's hard to find nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. If they would let me do that, if they would just pay for that, I will stay home and take care of them until... Yeah. But that's not realistic.
So before we get into anything serious, there's been this video floating around that I have to get your opinion on. Obviously I've been talking to some of my boys, I'm saying? We had the same opinion. But somebody from the opposite gender, from a woman's point of view, from a woman's mind, there's this video floating around. I don't know if you guys know it, I'm pretty sure you do. It's about this Afrobeats artist. I don't really know him, Omale or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's all over TikTok, IG, and everything. So basically, there was this couple. They were at a concert, his concert. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And mind you, some background. The guy and the girl, they've been together for 7 years apparently. Mm. So they're at the front seat. I'm guessing, the guy probably dropped a lot of money for him and his significant other to watch.
How do you know that?
I mean, it's a front row at an Afrobeats concert.
How do you know she didn't pay for it?
Why are you trying to trap me?
How do you know she didn't pay for it?
Hey, if she did, that's good on her. Okay. You know what I'm saying? She need to get you the same job. But yeah, so they got a front row seat. And then apparently, I think some type of way he called her up front. Mm. Not only was my man's holding her, the guy she's with, she let go of him, jumped over the barricade and went into his arms. They went behind stage and did a lot of wild stuff. So the internet's been blowing up on this. They were dogging the girl. Mm-hmm. People were supporting the dude. What is your point of view on it? Because I've seen some people trying to support the girl, saying, let her live her best life. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, so yesterday, actually, we're all having a conversation about it. Yeah. That was the first time I've seen. I saw a video of the guy, the boyfriend, looking up at the stage, but I didn't understand what it was, and I was like, I really could care less. But then yesterday, we were all talking in a group, and they're showing me different angles and different sides, and even the poor kid walking out of the stadium, and people following him and making fun of him.
I seen that picture, I think.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Well, obviously, no, if it's disagreeing, I don't agree with what she did. Yeah. But I can also understand the temptation of your favorite artist calling you on stage. I can understand the temptation, but she didn't need to do all of what she did. Yes, yeah. Her action was too much. Actually, yeah, it was very embarrassing. I don't know how even he stood there and watched the whole time. I would have left. Man right there. I would have left.
Strong man. 7 years. Imagine that. That's 3 more years is a decade.
So yeah, in 7 years, right? Why weren't they married? Why were they just in a relationship?
That's a great question. A lot of questions they were saying it makes sense. They're if she's doing this, did he not see any flags throughout the 7 years that if she's willing to just drop him like a bag and just walk up to a guy? But yeah, they were there for 7 years. I even heard that she actually gave the singer a kiss.
That's wild.
Just I'm just looking at all the red flags she's broken in 5 minutes. And I'm there has to be more to the story, obviously. I'm gonna give him grace to the point of I don't know what's going on in their personal life. Yeah. We've even seen a video a couple months ago about there was a Nigerian wedding when the husband brought his wife's favorite worship singer.
I saw
and
that too.
she got on her knees for the guy. Let go of her husband's hand once again.
Yeah.
So yeah, the overall thing I wanted to bring this to is like just the whole look of womanhood right now, the 21st century, if you like to say, in the world, secular. What is your take on it? How women are being portrayed, and just what's your opinion on it, basically, before we get into deeper?
Yeah, I think like feminism has gotten to like a very, very like the end of I don't even know what to call it, but it's not what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I think like equality with the opposite gender and everything that that would have been considered like oppressive and voting or driving or like even having a job. I think it was good then, but now it's like wanting to become a man at this point.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. So it's very unbiblical if we're looking at it from a Christian point of view, and it's very backwards even if you're just looking at it from like a biological point of view as well. So yeah, it's very saddening to say the least.
And it's sad like how you brought about feminism, like what it was, because now whenever you hear the word feminism, it's like, don't talk about feminism. But if you look at the origin, like you said, it was meant to empower women, at least like give women basic rights that they deserve as humans, as image bearers of God, like we talked about from our Christian background. But now it's becoming, like you said, like instead of women being equal, or at least like looking at women as like they're valuable, they're literally our homes.
Right.
Women are a very important part of society. Now it's like, women are not just like men; they need to be men.
They can be men.
They can be men, and it's like that's where I feel like a lot of our issues are coming from. Like we can see how the government, we can talk about the enemy, just attacking people's homes, the platonic family. And let's talk about family a little bit. We talk about how all these bad influences are on like the mother and the father. How was your family life growing up? I know you have a really amazing, interesting family life as well. So how was that like?
It was really good. I love my family. I love my father and mother. I feel like the luckiest girl, honestly. Like I have the best relationship with my mom and my dad. And I have a good view of manhood, what a man should be, and also what a woman should be. And I think like a lot of this comes from hurt, right? Like I think women, they don't want to be man. I think like when you look at it from like scientific, biological, spiritual, whatever, you look at it, and it's like a man and a woman need each other. So if a woman is saying, I don't want a man, or if a man is saying women are this and that, I think it comes from a place of hurt. Like we can't just dismiss that part either. Like, okay, what have you gone through that you feel like men are trash? Or what have you gone through that you're saying all these things and that you were independent and you don't want another man? Because obviously I can say that I've had a very dependable father and brothers and men that have influenced my life for the better, that I can say these things. But there are women out there that have been hurt by men, by their own father, by their own, and stuff like that. So when you look at it that way, you have to sympathize, right? Like, okay, I understand. Like the men that you were around weren't the greatest example.
Exactly.
But still, this isn't the right way of going about it. So I was very lucky, very blessed to have had that holistic view of what a man should be and what a woman should be from my mother's side as well. Yeah.
And even an important thing you didn't mention, but I really want to hear your point of view, is growing up with a father who was a pastor. I really want to know what was that like, because I always wondered, like, I never had like a pastor's kid. Like I got to speak to one, like one to one, but like how was it, like the expectations? Obviously it was amazing, but there was some hard times that probably came with it, probably hard expectations, just a lot of attention that you probably didn't want. How was that like growing up?
Growing up, I don't think it bothered me as much. I think you like the attention when you're younger. It's like, so-and-so's daughter, so-and-so's kids, it wasn't, honestly, the attention wasn't as bad. But I think I saw the effect of it once I grew up, and I saw a lot of the areas of my life where I'm like, oh, like, where did this come from? And I can like trace it back to being a pastor's kid. I even like was talking to my dad about it. Yeah, and I saw it more on my brothers more than me, like the pressure and to be like, oh, they're like every action or like every step that they take is like seen as my father's steps, you know, like
that's tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I saw it. I'm just like I know my brothers. I know they're not the wildest, you know, PKs or pastors' kids. Yeah. And if you're saying these things about my brothers, what are you saying about me? And so I feel like I put that pressure on myself to be like, you know, the golden child, as you can say, like just the yes person, the yes man, and just, you know, pleasing everybody so that it doesn't reflect my parents. It doesn't reflect on my parents or like my dad and stuff like that. So I would say the pressure was more from internal, like from myself. Yeah.
And you said a really interesting point about it. Because I know you probably heard of the stigma of like pastors' kids are sometimes they're hiding things because all this pressure. But how you said how when you were younger, it didn't impact you, but as you got older, in what ways did you see the actual impact of being a pastor's kid? Was it like, in what ways did you see like firsthand, like come out, like, and maybe in other relationships, maybe even in relationship to God in a sense? How did it come out for you? Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can say like the earliest view or like the earliest revelation, if you would call it, was like I've connected my failures. I don't know if that was connected that like if I fail, my parents fail with me.
That's a lot to carry.
Right? Like it was like, so I've always taken the safest routes. I think like you can say that, there's a lot of potential, like, you know, because I'm a pastor's kid, it's like, your potential. Or like my dad would say your potential, my brother is your potential. But I think I've taken the safest route because I didn't want to fail. And that would, like, I wasn't just failing, it's my parents that are failing as well. So this was like the early, like the latest thing that I've noticed about myself. And I vowed to fail more this year because of it. Yeah, so.
Take a risk in a
right,
sense,
taking risk, I guess, and I'm not really trying to fail.
I can only imagine, like, that's probably like a lot of stress to hold on to, where it's like a different level when it's like, okay, I'm failing. But when like, I know exactly what you're feeling, and like maybe in a smaller example, but like even in school, it's like, yeah, I could get bad grades, right? Mm-hmm. But then I'm always thinking about my parents talking about, we came all the way over here. We came all the way from back home. There's so many kids who would want to be in your shoe. And then that's like, it makes the failure like 10 times worse, obviously. Mm-hmm. So how would you say that, you spoke about like how, in a sense, it impacted you, like you didn't want to take any chances. Mm-hmm. How did it impact your brothers in a sense? Was it the opposite or the same way?
Well, I can't speak for my brothers, but with the way that their lives are going, I feel like I wouldn't think they'll feel the same way, just because they did feel the pressure. Yeah. From other people. Like I've never felt it from other people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't think, I think they're excelling for sure. That's good. Yeah. And
the interesting thing, you're talking about saying yes a lot. Last episode, we were talking about people pleasing. Mm. And obviously this is a pandemic across the world, different people groups, anyone. How was your, like, I guess, experience with people pleasing, especially being in that situation of being a pastor's kid? I bet the pressure was immense. So how did you go through that? Any experiences, and how did you deal with it?
I feel like I'm still dealing with it. I think, maybe a lot of people deal with it, but I feel like isn't it always like greater when it's you? Yeah. You feel like you're going through it the most, or like you're dealing with it the most and stuff. So especially like, I didn't even know the phrase people pleasing until like maybe college or whatever, because as Christians, as, people of God, as whatever, you are supposed to sacrifice yourself, and you are supposed to, give yourself for the others, and, like just being a godly person. So that's how I've always seen it as. I've never seen it as something that's holding me back. Like, because obviously, like when you're a chronicle people pleaser, you're literally like living for other people. Because then what about my life? Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So that's what I'm learning now. Like when I'm not taking care of myself, when what I need to get done doesn't get done, I'm helping out of frustration and obligation.
Not true love, right?
not love. Yeah. So, but I would also do it because I'm so-and-so's daughter. Yeah. And I have to do this for these people because then it's his daughter that did this and his daughter, and he did a great job of it and all these things. So like that image that my father, and again, like my father or my mother have never put this pressure. Of
course, it's all internal.
Like, yeah, in the house, we're like, it's the best, it's the greatest environment. Like he's never made us, he's never forced us to read the Bible. He's never forces us to like serve at churches or anything like that. But the pressure is literally from outside. And yeah, so from outside and in my case, internal. So yeah, it's just, it became like a second nature just to be a people pleaser. For a long time, even now, like when I help people, it's really like I want to. It's no is never like close. No, ever. And so even when I say yes, it's like I get happy. Like, yes, I want to help people. But then because I have this awareness of like, okay, you're neglecting a lot of the things that you're doing. Now I can like go back and say, oh, okay, but you can't do this and you can't do that. And so I can go back and say no. But like it will be on the phone. They can't see me because I'm like, oh, I can't. Like I can't. I'm so sorry. Yeah, like So I don't like my body still is adjusting to the word no. Yeah. So
that was a big part of it too. It's like people pleasing in the sense you could look at it like saying yes a lot. Mm-hmm. But it's also when you say yes, knowing that you're neglecting something. Like for example, like you leaving all of your responsibilities, dropping them for somebody else's responsibilities. Mm-hmm, that's not responsible. First of all. Especially as you grow older, you get a family. How can you drop all these different responsibilities and just jump at every single call?
For sure.
And like, I've seen that in so many people where it's like, this might be controversial, but it's like, have you ever seen like people like, not get exposed, but it's like, their family would come out, be like, their wife or their sister would be like, he doesn't do anything for us, but as soon as somebody else asks, he jumps to it. Yeah. And it gets bad, people pleasing. Yeah. You like, at some point it becomes like your nature. Like you can't even like, it just turns on and you just do it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just moving into it, like, this could have a big impact on like mental health. And like you said, so what was your experience with that mental health regarding maybe to people pleasing? And what were some things you did to like, I guess, because that's a taboo topic in terms of Christian.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine just because he said it's a taboo. I was asking him to help another friend that's in this field, like psychology and stuff. And I call him and I was like, hey, take a look at this flyer. I need your help. And then he read, the first thing was like, oh, mental health awareness. And he read mental health. And he was like, I promise you, I don't have it. I'm not. But like, he said it in the morning. He's like, yelling you. And I was dying because literally like the stigma, right? Like he was so defensive right away. But mental health is really just like not taking care of your emotional self. And for a long time, I suppressed all my emotions. Yeah. Growing up, especially, like I can look back at like memories and stuff. I wouldn't remember how I felt. I would remember the scenario. Yeah. And
would you say that was a defense mechanism or just?
Oh, for sure, it was a defense mechanism. Like especially like negative emotions, I wouldn't want to feel them, so it would be very suppressed. And I realized this like in college. In college is when I realized I was suppressing my emotions. But when I became aware of it, I realized the effect of it. And the effect was that like I would like pile up or like sweep under the rug all these emotions. And then one day I just explode. It would be by crying. It would be like by yelling at somebody that's close by that doesn't deserve it whatsoever. Exactly. Or it's just like shutting down and just isolating myself. Yeah. And when I became aware of these things and when I started really like, okay, like there are other people involved now and you can't just be doing this. And I started like sitting down and really like even like being sad was like something I never accepted because I was like a jolly, always happy, always just, the fun nunush or Ewnet that's around. And so I never felt like I can be sad. And there was always excuse why I can't be sad. Like, oh, you have a great life. Oh, these things are going in your life. Oh, yeah, like these things. And so you can't be sad. Or like, even like crying in front of people, whether it be at church or in the movies, and everybody's crying, but I'm not allowed to cry because they'll see me as weak. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so.
That's actually really crazy because I don't hear that side from a woman a lot in a sense, right? Yes. Where it's like, they'll see me as weak.
Yeah.
I hear that from, like, for example, as a man, it's like, I agree with you 100%. Like, literally, I don't know what it is. I feel like we feel like emotions, like, what's wrong with having emotions? Especially as a man, it's like,
exactly.
And our aspect is like, if we have emotions, we're looked at less or something. Like, we're supposed to be always calm, always collected. Then the moment we blow up, like you said, people are like, what's going on? Not knowing these are years, months of just piling everything in. It even goes to the point, like you said, like, we don't even know what we're feeling. Like, we can't put it into words, not because it's terrible, but because we don't have that skill we have no skill of like understanding our emotions or like addressing it. We're so used to putting it behind the rug that we don't know what to do with it.
For sure.
And there's a lot of people out there right now, like, I'm sure who are even watching, where it's like, they can't be in a quiet room even. They have to always, literally sensitize themselves with like social media. It could be friends. If you leave them by themselves, they will literally go crazy.
That is so true.
And so, yeah, do you think the reason maybe you got that was maybe because you were raised around like a whole bunch of like men, in a sense of like your brothers, they did an amazing job being with you. Did you get some of their qualities in a sense, you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I until this day, my brother calls me little brother.
Little bro?
Little bro, because I do have a tendency of like, like I was a tomboy for a very long time. Yeah. And growing up with brothers that are very close in age, and then, guys that I admired, and then their friends that are always around and stuff. Yeah. My brothers being the guys I admired. And so just I was being around them. And so like how they approached things would be my way of approaching things. Yeah. And so if they're not expressing their emotions, or like if they're not sad, or if they're not angry, or if they're not all these things, then I'm not like that either. Yeah. And obviously, in what Habesha household have you seen emotions being expressed, emotions being, the priority and stuff? So yeah, for sure, being like the younger sister for two older brothers for sure has an effect. Absolutely.
And have you seen it in a sense of like, have you tried to like, okay, let me just try to be more like, I don't know what it is, but like, how did you get out of that space of like slowly but surely addressing your emotions? Because I know it's a deep like battle trying to figure out where did this lead back to. I feel like that's a lot of people's issues of like trying to connect it, the whole hamster wheel back to the beginning of why do I feel this way? Yeah. What caused this? What trauma caused this? People are scared to address their trauma. So what was that journey like for you in a sense?
It was hard. It was very hard. So it's so crazy because obviously I grew up with brothers. I never think about getting married. I never think about boys, whatever. Side note. Yeah, so being very like logical and being very like not emotional, for sure has protected me from some
bad relationships,
bad men in general. Because like in high school and stuff, I would have crushes and stuff, but I would wait. Like I wouldn't immediately involve my emotions. I would literally just watch actions. I would like logically try to make sense of things, and I would be like, and seeing that my brothers are so friendly. And
they gave the game up.
Oh yeah. No. My brothers being so friendly to my friends. So yeah, they would think that they like them. And I'm just like, bro, I know my brothers and they're just being friendly. Sometimes they're flirting. Yeah. They know who they are. And so, but at my school, when the guys are friendly, it would be like, oh, he's feeling me. And then I'm like, wait, this is how your brothers get your friends in trouble. And so I waited out. And then next thing you know, they're on to the next. And I'm just like, bet, like, you know what I'm saying? So it helped me so much is the point. Yeah. So yeah, that I would say helped me a lot, like being logical and stuff. And so growing up, I wasn't very like, oh, when am I getting married? Or when am I like, I never thought about that thing. So like knowing how emotionally detached I was, this is going to sound so sad and so pathetic, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I would always, like when I was 19 and like 18 and stuff, I would just be like, okay, yeah, when I'm like 28, 29, I'll get married to like some guy that wouldn't expect me to be emotional, just wants, a wife. And that mentality, and now I look back, I'm just like, dang, who hurt you? Like, who hurt you, and why aren't you even excited for like the emotion aspect of it?
Yeah.
But and then I got into a relationship, and then I realized, okay, bro, there's so many things that I like need to work on, or like need to, for the relationship to be successful, I need to work on a lot of these things. And so I became very intentional.
Yeah.
And well, obviously there's someone else involved now. And so,
relationships teach you a lot.
Oh my God, so much. And in that I learned like how to address, like I would get overwhelmed with emotions, and then it would be like so new and so like, what is this? Like I don't understand. Even like it wasn't just when I'm happy, it was also when I'm like mad, but I wouldn't know how to express it because like this is a very new emotion like I've never felt. Because when I'm mad at my brothers, I can go yell at them. We can literally fight it out, no problem, But this person right now is like, oh, I care about this person. I don't want them to leave. I don't want them to, do these things. Like, I don't want to jeopardize this. So I need to work on it. And like, I was just being very intentional. So
even relationships in this sense, like they teach you patience. They teach you humility. Mm-hmm. They teach you leadership in a way. How was that like in the sense of having a man in a sense, like be a leader and this whole thing of submission, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole controversial topic, but I don't think it has to be. I feel like most women I've talked to, they said they will easily submit to a man that's worthy in a sense to submit to.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of women, you could give me your take on it, where it's like they're scared to submit because they don't trust the man's leadership.
Exactly.
And they're like, I don't know, where are we going? Where are you taking us? I don't trust you. So like, what is your point of view on that? Like submission in a sense.
Yeah, it's exactly what the other girl said. It's like, if you are worthy to submit to, if you know how to take care of my emotion, if you can handle my emotion even, because men don't know their emotion, just like you were saying, to handle someone else's emotion, finances, biblical backgrounds and stuff like that, because there's so many things that are being added and stuff like that. Like, are you taking from that? Or are you listening? Are you hearing from God? So all these things. If a woman feels safe with a man, I think it's so easy to submit. But again, like there are women that have experienced men that aren't so safe. And so submitting to a man is like, why? Because if all men are the same, and this is the example of a man that I've seen, why would I submit to that? And no offense to the men, but you guys are so defensive. Y'all are, and I'm going to say the Christian. Yeah, that's the Christian men.
We're not talking about men who are just out here wilding. We're talking
about, you guys are so very defensive.
What way?
In a way where it's like the women should submit, and it doesn't make sense. Like it says it in the Bible. So you guys are very logical. Let me just say that. Very logical. Too logical sometimes, because like when a woman says this, she's not thinking she's better than you. She's thinking she's better than the men she's encountered. She's thinking about the men that she's been hurt by. She's not thinking about you. She doesn't know you. So when people are speaking from like a very vulnerable place, it's a very vulnerable place. Like you would think it's like, oh no, I'm better. It's independence, whatever. I can do it all. No, like.
I feel like you're right.
Exactly. Like, especially if you know the Bible, and if you know the order and how it should be, when somebody isn't acting accordingly, you should ask what happened. Like, especially if you know the Bible, especially whatever. When you accept Christ, you don't become like, the baggages don't leave you.
No, for sure.
That's a deliverance that needs to happen. So just because a woman is saved or she's accepted Christ, that doesn't mean that whatever she's been through is automatically stripped away. And just because she read the Bible or she read submit to your husband, that's going to happen automatically. And vice versa for men. They've seen how they like their father, their uncles treat women.
That's what they know.
That's what they know. So we can't, I don't know, we just need to come from it like a sympathetic
And it's funny you mentioned that too, because before this, I was going to ask you a couple questions. I'm like, but then you literally brought up in the sense of like how men are defensive.
Yeah.
We might have like unrealistic. Exactly. And I can agree with you where it's like, we're not arguing of sin or not, but it's like, nah, I can't do that. Like,
yeah.
Like, help me out here. Like, there's some things that I just can't swallow. Like,
yeah.
There's like different debates of like, what if a woman, like your woman makes more than you? I'm sorry, I can't. It's not happening.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why? She's not telling you to. She's not telling you to control the finances.
At that point, I'll just be a house husband. What is that? What? Like, you see? I feel like it's in terms of provision, right? That's what's what we bring to the table, the protector, provider.
Yeah.
And you might be right in the sense of provision and like it's not just about money.
Yeah.
It's about what I give to you spiritually, like mentally. Like I'm just pouring into you, not just my money, but I feel like that's a lot. It's a lot to take for a man of like their woman is like out earning them. And I feel like it's a mature thing. Like I'm saying this now, but if I grow, when I'm getting older and I meet the girl of my dreams and she's making more than me, this is an easy compromise.
Yeah.
But right now I could see how there's a lot of things where it's like, biblically speaking, we know that men lead.
Yes.
But day to day, there's some things just like, we don't know how should we lead? You know? Like there's not like, it's black and white in some issues. I don't think the Bible speaks about the woman has to be the home breadwinner, the husband has to be the breadwinner. But in a sense, I feel like the overall theme is being sympathetic, both sides. So men's egos, yeah?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you guys have it. And, that's part of the thing that we like about men.
That's a part of it. Package.
It's the package. But like the ego sometimes just needs resting, deflating.
Humility.
Just coming. Exactly. Humility is also very attractive. Like obviously I was just kidding when I said women are always right. But admitting that you're wrong sometimes just makes it more, honestly, it just makes it more attractive. For me at least. Like when a man is humble and just like.
I was going to actually ask that because last week I asked my first guest, but I was asking, because women, you know how like women think they have to do certain things to look attractive. But if you ask a man what they want, it's like, no, I just want this and this and this.
Yeah.
And the same thing from a man is like, we think like we have to have a nice body, nice cut, all this. We think it's attractive. But when you ask a girl, it's like, I like him when he's not cut or like
exactly.
This. So for your point of view, not for your point of view, but like, what is attractive for you in a man?
Yeah. It's so crazy you said that because my brothers are very into fitness.
Yeah.
They're always walking around with, their shirt off and they always have like 6 packs, whatever. And so like for me,
hey, that's a, they got that, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But it ruined it for me because now like 6 packs is just like regular for me. No, I'm not even kidding. It's like I see
the bar is, you gotta have an 8-pack to come to you?
No, that's what I'm saying. They don't.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't find that attractive or as attractive as other women do. It's a plus. Yeah, you can have it, but it's really like it reminds me of my brothers. It reminds me of home. Like, like men at my house walking around shirtless. That's what I promise you. That's like what it brings back to. Obviously, yes, it looks nice, whatever, but it just doesn't do that for me. And so like
what does?
Like I think like men that are obviously humor is the biggest thing. And that's one thing that I got from my family. My brothers are very funny. I think funniest people I know, honestly. My mom, like my whole family, we're very funny. Just kidding. But so yeah, humor is like one thing, like banter, just, You can
connect with the person. It's not boring. It's not dry.
Exactly. So if I can connect in that part, that's very good. I think that's like a nice gateway to my heart.
What's some, I guess, green flags you would look in a guy you're interested in?
Oh, obviously. Like character-wise.
Yeah.
Character.
Yeah. A lot of funny people who have bad character.
I know, you're right.
So besides the spiritual in a sense, practically.
Yeah, obviously.
We're saying this man right here is a man of God. Obviously. Yes. First and foremost, that's a basic necessity.
Yes.
He gave his life to Jesus.
Yes.
He knows his word. He's trying his best to follow God.
Yes.
And now, what would you say is some good practical things you like about a guy?
He doesn't need to be a theologian. He doesn't need to be a pastor. He doesn't need, I think.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah, he doesn't. And I can say that because I've seen being around, many pastors, many leaders in the church, whatever. Like I've seen them have a pulpit, but not the character.
Oh, it's so amazing how everything is connecting to the last episode. You're spitting. I don't know where
Good. Okay, so no, seriously, because I've seen that and I'm just like, okay, not every pastor is a saint. Not every singer is worship leader. Male worship leaders, we know, aren't as great.
It's a bad look.
You know what I'm saying?
They have a bad character.
Yeah, so we know all of these things. And so for me, I don't need you to have a platform or a pulpit or you don't need to be, I don't want you to tell me about God. Show me God in your life. And
Hold on. Say that one more time for everybody in the back. Say that one more time.
I don't need you to tell me about God. Show me God in your life. Okay. For me, love is an action. And if I don't see what you're preaching in action, I don't want it. And I would like to say that I have good discernment. And so I can see these things in people.
What's a character?
Yeah. And so when it's genuine and when it's really just from, and I thank God for that. Obviously, it's a gift, and I'm very appreciative of it. So, that's I think like humility and just being humble. I think that's the best.
You said a lot of good things too, and what you said in the beginning reminded me. I don't know if you ever heard this quote. It's like, spread the gospel. Sometimes use words. So it's basically saying like, we think spreading the gospel, talking, telling people about the gospel, obviously, but it's saying live it out. Sometimes talk about it, but mostly your spreading of the gospel is the way you live.
For sure,
right?
For sure.
People, we've all grown up in church. People have a lot of different experiences of people, their parents, their grandma, telling them about God, but they haven't had a lot of people in their life that's like, that person, I know for a fact, whatever God he's following, I want to follow.
Exactly.
Because of the way they lived.
Yeah.
And bringing back to what you said about men, from our point of view, it's like we have to be looked at as like the top dog, or like I want to appear some type of way in front of you so that you can like, even though inside I might not be that man, right?
Yeah.
I want to appear like I have everything figured out. I have all the plans, everything set and ready.
Yeah. Just
so I could appear like, like so she could be like, you could be more impressed.
Yeah.
But to hear you say like a man who's literally humble, who's literally like not like, you don't want to talk her, you want to do her.
Yes.
I feel like that's a big thing that I feel like us men have to get. And that's for everybody who's watching. I feel like a lot of women are like that too. It's like, maybe, tell me if I'm wrong, but women are tired of hearing men talk about what they're going to do. I just want to see it happen.
Exactly. That's why I got pissed when you said, oh, they would love you if you proposed to a man. I know it's like off topic. I know.
Would you ever, we asked her a question off camera, but I've had a lot of answers to this and they've all been one, is no.
Yeah.
Would you ever propose to a man?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, let me ask you that one time. I don't think you heard me. Would you ever propose to a man?
Yeah. If I love him and I know he's the one and, okay, I'm going to cut the crap. No, I would not. No, I would not. And that's why I'm going to come back to it, because that's what I'm saying. Like a doer, right? Like if you're not going to do it, if you're going to want your woman to propose to you and if you're going to like that, that's a no off the dome. Don't ever tell a woman, I want her to propose to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what if he's like, I want you to be humble? Like, I'm humble, you be humble as yourself.
No, but proposing isn't humility. That doesn't show anything. It shows that you want me and you're assertive and you know what you want. It doesn't, there's no humility in proposing.
I'm just arguing for,
yeah.
I'm on your side.
Yeah.
So I don't ever want a woman to, like, I literally told my friends, if a woman ever proposed to me, I'm gonna tell her to get up, let's walk away and do this again some other time. Cause ain't no, who's gonna say yes to that?
You'll still marry her?
Huh?
You'll still marry her?
No. We have a long talk about this and we can come back to it later. But it's so interesting how you spoke about like just men in general, how you said a lot of character flaws in men is like doer and shower. Man, that was actually really interesting to hear you say that. And I feel like a lot of these different point of views I'm getting from you, it's refreshing, but it's something we shouldn't take lightly in a sense, right? So closing it off, what are some last things you want to tell first to the men? Any message you have for them in the sense of like men who are listening could be wanting to get into relationships, wanting to better themselves. Because last week we had it from a man's point of view. He was giving advice to other men. But from a woman's point of view, looking up to helping men, what would you say some advice?
So for the men, I would say submit to the Lord first. And I think it's so easy for a woman to submit to a man that's submitted to God.
Of course.
Yeah. And so I think that's like the basic, but it's so like overlooked when we look at what we're doing in the church, the serving, the doing, the whatever, and not really like our heart postures aren't submitted to the Lord. So just, I would say that to the guys, and just, having good character, like just always renewing your heart, renewing your mind. And last but not least, really checking in with your mental health. It doesn't need to be a therapist, doesn't need to be some professional, but really just like checking in with yourself, like knowing exactly how you feel, and expressing that doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you strong because you have control and power over your emotions that it won't affect your outside world. So just emotions, knowing your emotions is makes you a stronger person than not knowing them and them spilling over in other people's lives. And even like knowing your emotions helps you understand your female partner, the woman that you're...
Their point of view, their perspective.
Exactly. It makes you more sympathetic because you were saying earlier, like the traumas that brings us to this specific, complacent places that we're in right now. And just understanding that will make you sympathetic. When you're sympathetic to yourself first, and when you understand yourself and love yourself first, you can do that to others too. And for the women, just keep being great because...
Oh my gosh, get a load of this.
Keep being great because it's the men that need...
Yeah, we're causing all the damage, all the trouble. So we'll clean our act up.
No, I mean, again, it's the same thing for the woman. Like, submit to the Lord, and I think that submission...
Be obedient. Please listen. Please trust us.
Yeah, and for the women, I think it's the same thing, like submitting to the Lord, right? Like for both of them, for both men and women, like they have to have their vertical relationship in line. And when you're submitted to that relationship, the horizontal relationship becomes very easy and very manageable because there's an example. So yeah, just honestly, Jesus is always the answer. So
that's it. That's really the only answer.
That's our message here. Jesus is the answer, and we keep looking back to him. So that's it.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. It was an amazing time. I don't know what's been going on. This is 2 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. Every guest I've had you and then BK last guest. The conversation's been going by like this. I don't know, the time's flying. You would think we've been talking for like, 10, 15 minutes? We're talking like 30, 40 minutes.
Wow.
So, time flies when you're having fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about the chat, any opinions, any advice. And I'm going to see you guys on the next one, and I'll catch y'all out. This Legacy Podcast. Woohoo!